There we go. You can see all this other, stuff going on in the background. So I had to figure out exactly what I wanted this to be about. So I had to start figuring out what I was going to do. So I had to compose my image. So I took this snapshot and I created this. Okay, so cut it down and I used the rule of thirds or the rule of three. Does anybody remember from previous classes what the rules of thirds or rules of three is?
Oh, I've forgotten. It's been a while.
Okay, so basically if you take an image and you divide it into three, so you have one section, second section, and in your third section, and then you divide it into threes again, this section, and then this section, you will have 2 lines and 2 lines. Where these lines cross, you should have 2 points. On these 4 points. Where these 4 points are, you should have something interesting, something that you feel is interesting. Okay? So if we were to actually divide this up, you would find that this eye is on one of those points. And actually, if you look at your phone and start actually like moving the little cursor around to do your editing, you will actually see these lines come up and you can start actually lining these up when you do editing.
Okay.
So that is the rule of thirds. That's a way of composing your image so that you get a nice image and that your image says what you want it to say. It does what you want it to do. Okay? Now there's another concept I want to introduce you to, and that is what is generally called lines of force. Lines of force. Okay? And these are relatively easy to spot because when you look at an image, it's the way your eye tends to go, right? So if we look at this and we look at the way the young lady is looking in one direction, so we would call that a line of force. If you see someone pointing in an image, someone riding a horse in one direction, the wind blowing the trees in another direction, these are lines of force, ways your eyes actually follow something. So we've got a line of force going that way.
Okay.
Okay, and then the next thing is if you look down here, you see the way this curvature is on her shirt and the way it dips down. Okay, so your eye kind of follows this and this dip. Okay, so your eye follows this. So we've got this going this way and this going this way. This naturally happens within this image. So what we have to do is we have to connect this movement with this movement so that we keep the eye going around
Oh.
so that people are interested in what they are seeing here.
Not much.
I'm gonna have to keep it that way then.
Okay, does that make sense? Did everybody catch that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the ways that we can do this, okay, so we've got this going this way and this going this way. So here we've got this just blank space in this image. Now I want to keep this blank space, but I want to make this interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with just a gradation, like a gray gradation in my image. So I'm going to make it lighter up here and I'm going to make it darker down here because I want to connect this down to this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want to visually kind of pull the eye this way. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. Okay, so now all right. What are the three primary colors?
Red, blue, and yellow.
Yellow,
Red, blue, and yellow. All right. Why are we calling them primaries?
You can mix all the colors with them.
You
Right.
can mix all the colors from them, but you cannot mix any colors to make them.
Mm.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is this is an ultramarine blue. Okay. So this is a chemical that makes up this color of ultramarine. Ultramarine blue, this blue is the same chemical that makes up the blue from this color in the watercolor. It makes up the same blue in acrylic. It makes up the same blue in oil. If it says ultramarine, it has to be the same chemical
Ah.
color. Okay.
What brand is that?
What did I have?
Yeah, because
Oh.
mine just has numbers on it. I don't have any colors. They're all numbers.
Oh, okay. Different companies, designate theirs differently. Mine's just an old company. It just says design on them.
Okay.
Of course, I have, I have like multiple different, groups of
Right.
pencils.
Sure.
That's
But
one thing
yeah,
you can't do on Zoom, borrow your pencils.
Yeah.
that's true. I can't bring my whole set and just pass them around, can't I?
That's what we did last year.
Like I used to, yeah.
If I buy a new set, I think I will look for one that says the color because the number doesn't mean a whole lot. And then I got to remember or mark down the number,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
nice
tell
to
you how many
useful.
times I've had, okay, I think this is that color, and then I'm like, no,
Yeah,
that's not the color I wanted at all.
I know. I know.
Okay, so we have our primary colors, our blue, our red, our yellow. Then we
Right.
have our secondary colors, and those are,
Orange, purple, green.
yes, orange, purple, green. Those are our secondary colors.
Like,
Okay, so then we have we have blue, red,
yeah.
yellow. Okay. Hey, I think I've got Pam.
I'm switching devices.
Oh, are you? Okay. Here we go.
Can't keep the internet running to even hear you.
Oh, good. We can see you. Yay.
Love
We
At
missed
least I
your
can see her
smiling
ceiling.
face. We missed your smiling face.
Give me a second here. Don't you love small towns
Technology is a beautiful thing.
when it works?
I am not a cat. I am not a cat.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got blue, red, and yellow. So that's our primaries. Our secondaries are the colors that are made from them. Then we have what are called complementary colors.
Right.
Okay, our complementary colors are the colors that are opposite. Okay. Each color has a color that is on the same wavelength as its color, but it is completely opposite. So it cancels itself out. So each color has a opposite color that makes it a neutral or makes it darker. Okay, so if you have a red and you are currently doing a red fire truck, right? And you're drawing along and you're doing the red fire truck, and all of a sudden you have to do the shadow of the red fire truck. And it's one of those where it's not a red that goes the black. So you need to add the complement in order to darken the red, but not blacken the red.
Okay.
Okay. So you need to add the mix of the other two. Did that make sense, or did I just totally lose you guys?
You mean like the mix of the, yep, say, well,
Okay,
not
so if you have a red and you need the complement, you add the mix of the other two primaries.
primaries. That's what
The
I
other
wanted.
two primaries, right. So if you have a red, you add the mix of the yellow and blue, which is
Green.
green. So the complement of red is green. If you add the green to the red, it will darken the red down. Okay, now not any red and any green just go together. You do have to find one that is the exact same wavelength, just opposite. Okay. Same with yellow. The complement of yellow is the mix of the red and the blue, which would make it
Purple.
purple. That's right. Now, when you're doing these mixes, remember, you don't want them to be completely 50-50. If you get a 50-50 mix, you're going to end up with a brown.
Mhm.
So if you're going to do a red and a green, you still want to make sure you have more red than green.
Uh-huh.
Okay, do you guys want to see that in action, or do you actually believe me?
Let's see. Give us one example.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen you.
All right, let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so we've got our red. So I'm doing a fire truck. Now I'm over here in the shadow. Now remember how we did the one section where we were mixing colors? Okay, so I want to add some green. But the primary color is red. So I want to have more red than the green.
Okay.
So I'm here. Doing my fire truck. Okay,
Oh.
Yeah, that looks good.
okay. So see how much darker this is than this one is.
Mhm.
Now, if I wanted it even darker, I can add more green to it. Now, same thing, okay? I'm out doing a forest. This is the only green I've got. And now suddenly I have to do the dark side of an evergreen. Well, okay, I'm gonna add a little red on the bottom side of my evergreen. Now I'm gonna put the green over the top.
And once again, it's really important, like which one goes on top and on bottom.
Yeah, and what is your ratios to how much you're putting to what? So I like to think of it as if this is 1, okay, so then I'm adding like a half of a green. Does that make sense? So I'm having
Yeah.
I have, or I'm adding half of a red.
Ooh.
And I think I've got too much red in there, actually. Okay.
Okay.
But you can lighten it by adding more green.
Right. I can darken that after that dries, since I think I've got too much red in there. After that dries, I can go in with more green and then add more water over the top of it. So it will visually mix.
Suppose you blotted it. What would happen? Would that be too hard to correct it? Or is it better to let it dry?
Let me go get some more tissue. Hang on.
My head, we were starting at 6:30. Now I'm all behind.
She's gonna put them on YouTube, she said though.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm recording all of these, so they'll all be on YouTube.
If you can get your computer to work.
Pam's been having trouble with her computer.
Okay, so is it better to just let it dry now or try to put green on right away? Might be better to let it dry.
I would let it dry.
That's what I would think, because otherwise it might look black or something.
Yeah, because I mean, one of the things you can do if you really need an intense color is I'm actually dipping my pencil actually
Yeah.
directly into the
Oh.
water.
I've done that.
Okay.
Yep.
And
Yep.
this is actually
Awesome.
liquefying this right here. And what it's going to do is it's really, really, really coming off.
Sometimes I like
You
that.
guys see that right now?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
problem with getting things too dark.
Yep,
Yeah,
go
it
on.
will. It will really darken it up. And then at that point in time, you're pretty much done. If you're going to do this at the very last, because
Okay,
you're not going to be able to come back from this one.
okay.
Okay.
Now, you don't want to saturate it too much or the paper will start to tear.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me. Now, there is a concept that's called warm colors come forward and cool colors recede. Has anybody ever heard of that concept before?
In quilting.
Heard of it for like landscapes, especially in the background, you want cool colors.
Yeah, like, with the atmospheric changes, it turns more blue
Atmospheric
in the
stuff?
background.
Okay, so here's a secret. Okay. Within each color, there is warm and cool colors. Okay, so within blues, there are warm and cool blues. Within reds, there's warm and cool reds. So it's not just a matter of you use a red to bring something forward, you use a blue to push something backwards. Okay. So let's take a look at this. So this, I can't even, scarlet red. So I've got a scarlet red here. Here's a crimson red. See how this one's a lot more orange than this one? Okay, so this one's a lot more towards the yellow. I don't even know what color this one is. It's not even saying. Here's a carmine red. Here's a scarlet lake. And here's just a scarlet red. Okay, so each one of these colors, they're all red, right? But these all have a different kind of
So
that one almost looks like a shell pink to it, at least
Yeah.
from my point of view.
It's like
the
a
2, 5,
salmon,
and 6 are your darker
Salmon,
colors.
yeah, that looks very salmony, doesn't it?
like what I'm having for dinner.
Okay, so if you start incorporating this into your image, don't try to do one of these. Okay, I need this section to come forward, so I need to put a red here, and then a blue over here, so that this section goes back. Okay, that's going to be too jarring on your eye. You want to do this a lot subtler so that the eye doesn't actually pick it up as it's turning around the object. So you're going to want to do something a little more like red with maybe just a touch of violet on the edge. Okay. That might do you better than this. Okay, gonna have to play around a little bit with it, see how it works for you.
Could you give us an example in a scene where how that would, the effect would work? Like if you have a sky or something you want, what's dark, how do you do that? That's kind of Like a visual, more of a visual.
I can, just not right now. But I've got,
I mean, like, would the light color be the, like, I guess the lighter color be the one you want to fade away with? Like if you want to fade away on the bottom, you'd have.
well,
guess
if I
I'm not
have,
a-
okay, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's see if I can get this to work for you. Okay, I have a yellow ball.
Right.
Okay. Now, let's use, what's the complement of yellow?
Purple.
Purple. Right. So I'm going to use purple because I want it to turn to look three-dimensional. I can't use black on yellow because if I use the black, it'll turn to green. So I'm going to use the purple. Okay. So I'm going to add just a little bit of purple to the edges. To get this to try to turn. Okay, so which way is the sunlight coming? Make a decision, left or right?
Right. Right.
Right.
Right, okay, so we're gonna make the sunlight coming from the right. So sun's coming over here, so this is where it's gonna get really dark underneath here. So now I can put a lot of purple over here because I'm gonna wanna add the blue here because this is where it gets really, really dark. But I don't want to add the blue and the yellow because what color am I going to get?
Green.
Green, right. So I'm using the purple as a buffer so I don't get the green.
Mm.
Okay, and then I'm going to add the blue so that I get some nice darkness over here. Okay.
So are you adding the blue on top of the red,
The purple?
the purple?
Yeah, I'm putting the blue on top of the purple. And I'm
Okay.
not taking it to the yellow because if I take it to the yellow, I'm going to get the green.
Okay, that makes sense. I just couldn't tell if you're going on top of it or next to it.
Yeah, no, I'm going on top of the purple. Okay, so I'm going to add my water now. Now, always going to start from the light to the dark. So I'm going to start watering in the yellow first. Right? Rinse. Then going into the purple. Okay.
Hmm.
That's a nice looking yellow egg.
You like that yellow egg?
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
lemon.
I love eggs.
It's
A lemon? There we go. I like that. I can go lemon. Okay. So
Yeah.
does that make sense now a little bit more?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I was thinking more in terms of gradation, like, you know, how you want the sky to fade out or brighten up, or
Mhm.
even when water, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you can also do that. But the thing is, you have to really control your water and really think about your layers when you use your complements in order to darken them down like this.
So how do you know what to put on top in the case of like, you don't want to put the blue on top of the yellow because you'll get green. So
Right.
how did you decide on the purple? And, you know, so what's the process to decide what to protect it so it doesn't turn green?
Okay, so we have a yellow object. We can't use black because that will turn it to a green. So
Right.
we have to use the complement for the yellow. The
Okay.
complement of yellow is purple.
Okay.
And so we use the purple to start the shading process,
Okay.
okay, to darken down the yellow.
Okay.
And then we use the blue to help put the shadow on.
Just to give it more of a accent, so to
Yeah,
say.
just to make it darker.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And you use the purple as a buffer between the yellow and the blue,
Right.
so you don't get the green. Okay. So here we go. Guys, ready? We're going to get started on our drawing.
All right.
So one of the things I would like to encourage you to work with is to get another piece of paper. If you have one of the larger pieces of paper, the larger blocks, draw on 1/2, leave yourself a little space in the middle so that you can do your tests, and then have the big section on the other side for another image. Okay, if you have the little section in the middle, then you can do your tests. And if you want to, you can actually write on there what combinations you made. So it's also making you like, you know, like the little test colors that we did.
Mhm.
Okay. So the secret to this young lady's skin tone, especially since she is got such a pale yellow base here, right?
Mhm.
Because she's not a dark skin. She's definitely Scandinavian with these blue eyes and blonde hair, right? She's very pale. So the secret to her skin tone is yellow, red, and green.
Green. Huh.
So I'm going to do a couple of test runs here on my test out blotter, just to make sure I can get this light enough. And I want to do this area around her face here, around up in this light area up in here, around the eyes. Okay, so I'm going to start out. I'm just going to do
How do
a
you determine where you want to start?
I'm just picking a spot, actually.
Okay.
Usually when
Probably
usually when I start on something, I start on the eyes. Tell you the honest truth. I always start on the eyes. But I
Okay.
want to get you guys going on a nice big area. So
Mhm.
we're going to get started with some of the skin tones.
Okay.
And since you always start from the lightest to the darkest with watercolors, that's
Okay.
what we're doing. Okay. So I'm just putting down some, and I'm not even really pushing on the paper. I'm just running it back and forth to give myself a little spot of yellow here on my test blotter, because I'm doing a test. Okay. And then I'm just gonna, if this is my 1, if I'm thinking of ratios, if this is my 1, and I'm now going to do a half. So if I was just barely pushing down on that,
Mhm.
then a half,
Even lighter.
yeah. Okay. Because this is a really light area, so we want this to come up really, really lightly, right? Now I want the green to help neutralize out some of the red, but I want it even lighter than the red.
So you're going right over the yellow now though, right?
Yeah, I'm still working on the same spot.
Okay.
Green?
Green, because green is the complement of red. Yeah, I know, Pam, but this
I'm
is a
trying-
secret. This is a secret from Michelangelo. Now,
Now hold it. I got a question.
okay.
When you're putting the green on, are you doing that on your 1 value or your half value?
It's even less than a half value, because your yellow is 1 value, your red is a half value. So this is even what, a 1/4 of a value?
Ooh.
But are you
Okay.
putting the green on the darker of the yellows or the lighter of the yellows, or all of it?
All of it.
All of it. Okay. That's why I'm not sure I'm with you yet, but okay, I'm trusting you.
You just trust me. We'll get through this. Such a look of concentration.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and then green is just a 1/4.
Mine's very yellow.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Red. Green.
Yeah, I got a color that might be good for areas of the hat.
Okay, so this one here is my straight yellow,
Uh-huh.
and this is my yellow, red, and green.
Okay.
I can't really tell.
Sorry, I've gotten confused.
Okay, that's okay.
Is it red or green first?
It's red first.
Okay.
So you're just doing that light part on her face, yellow, red, green. And then
Yeah.
where did you go? What's the bright yellow? Is that just because when you wetted it, it turned bright yellow or?
Yeah, I just put the yellow down just so you've got something to compare with. Okay, that's what that looks like, and that's what that looks like, the combination.
Okay, so should we wet what we just colored now or?
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and draw, or if you're satisfied with your combination and you think you can reproduce it, go ahead and draw around her. Go ahead and color
Okay.
in around her little eye.
Okay. Let me get paper towel.
So if we're getting too much yellow, do we need more green or red?
If you're getting too much yellow, you need both of them.
Okay.
So are we going like into her hairline even?
Yeah, see, now not all the way up into there, because you can see the shadow up in there, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so here and here and in here. Now
Is the
down in
cheekbone
here, it
area?
starts to get a little redder. So we would actually add a little more of the red and less of the green, because we want the
Mhm.
red to show up more. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. You sure we need to start here and not the eyes? You've got this pretty drummed into me.
I know, I know.
I'm just not sure I can do that.
All right, let's see what we got here.
So can we color right over like where her eyebrow will be, or should we avoid that area?
You can color right over where the eyebrow is going to be, because remember, with watercolors, they're translucent, so you can layer more colors on top of more colors. You just have to make sure everything's dry when you go to do that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
What about this side of her nose where it's also light?
Yep, go ahead and color that in too.
Okay. Let it dry a little. What the heck is that? Let it dry a little bit.
I cheated. I drew the eye.
So are we doing the whole face like one shade and then we're gonna shade from there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, remember, as I'm looking at this, see the little light dot on her nose?
Yeah.
So we're going to need to make sure that we don't color that in and save that. Okay, so make sure to leave that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And right above her lip on the left, there's another.
Another little dot there, isn't there?
Mhm.
Then as you're working, go ahead and work down into her neck, and don't forget to do her arms too.
Oh, oh.
So right now, we're really just focusing on the lightest part of her.
Yes.
We're not worrying about the shadows or,
Not really worrying about the shadows. We're just trying to get that lightest color. So
You're
we're
not even
concent-
going over. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I've got my red now, and I'm adding the red in with the yellow.
The red goes on before the green.
Red goes on before the green.
so it's the red that kind of gives it the little bit of a rosy, peachy
Rosy,
tone.
yeah.
And then the green kind of calms that down a little bit.
Right, right.
Right.
So that they don't look, what's that syndrome when you got rosacea, so that you don't have rosacea.
Yeah. So when you put water on it and then you discover that, oops, I made it too yellow, you kind of have to wait for it to dry and then
Yep, and then you can make your corrections.
correcting with the red and the green,
Correct.
right?
Mhm.
Yes.
But not with more yellow.
But not
Yeah.
with more yellow.
Oopsie daisy.
So if I'm seeing lines underneath the watercolor, I'm pressing too hard, right? With the pencil.
The lines underneath the watercolor are the nature of the beast. Accept them
Okay.
and embrace them.
Okay.
But yes, if you're seeing like a lot of lines, then yes, you're pressing way too hard. And it also could be the texture of your paper too. It might help if you add a little more water and then, you know, swirl your brush a little bit more. Sometimes I can get the lines to come up that way. What?
I just prefer to work with pencil. And so it was really hard for me to resist the urge to shadow and
And shade and all that stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
but now I'm paying the price.
No, stop. Okay, stop.
You could have just picked a smiley face as a portrait.
Having to deal with teeth.
That's a good point. Teeth aren't that easy.
Not that kind, just a plain old yellow circle with black lines.
Oh, oh, okay. What, honey? No, sweetie. Mama's teaching.
Is that your cat?
Yes, one of my many. And Pyewacket will not take no for an answer, unfortunately.
Well, there's something else. What else do I have?
Come here, come here.
The skin starts looking green. Oh,
Yeah, I did the same thing. I got to some of the shaded parts and I was pressing a little bit harder on the green. Oops.
So is the goal to find the exact color, or is it the goal to find a suggestion of that color?
A
Do you know what I mean?
suggestion of that color.
Okay.
Mine's kind of like tannish. So is that too much of something? Or, you know, my colors are not exact either, like yours, because I've got this number thing going on.
Yeah.
If
Well,
it's
you
a
know,
little too dark tannish.
yours are going to be different because you have different colors than I do. So it's going to be a
Yeah.
little bit different.
How would I lighten the tannish up? A suggestion, a little bit lighter?
Yeah, a little bit lighter. And you may have, if you're getting too much of a tan color,
Yeah.
want more of a yellow, you may have too much of a red green going on.
So should I add more yellow or what should I add?
Yes, more yellow.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
you're dry. So dear.
I wonder if it's my yellow though, too. I'm gonna try another yellow.
Try another yellow.
Yeah, could be my yellow.
Hey, can you see this at all, Jackie?
Yep, I can.
Is it sorta, kinda?
Yeah, sort of, kinda. Yeah.
We really need to go to the eyes. Sorry.
Okay, Pam.
I'm sorry. She's taught me well. It's been a lot of years.
I hear you.
When you do a portrait yourself, do you start with the eyes?
I do. I
Oh, my
always
goodness.
start with the eyes when I start a portrait.
I do too.
Oh, so you've gone on, Jackie, to work on the rest of her skin besides the lightest. It looks like.
Yeah, yeah.
So what are you
So-
doing? What are you doing?
I'm just continuing on around the light side of her face, not
Okay.
just around, specifically around her eye.
Oh, you
So
need to
I've
send it later.
gone through the cheek here.
But now you're adding, it looks like you're adding more red.
Yep, so right around the cheek area here where her cheek's a little more redder. So
Yeah.
I've added a little bit more red to the combination.
But you're still doing the same yellow, red, green.
It's still the same yellow, red, green. And since I wanted more red in this area, I added less green to it so that the red will come through.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah. So, gosh, I am apparently not using nearly enough water. Because you've got
I am.
a little puddle.
Yeah, yeah. You should have, it shouldn't be soup, but you should have a little puddle of water to move around and push.
Not either.
I already. Do I just shade on top of it now? I think I got lost.
No, you look good. You look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can just wait for it to dry and then shade on top.
Yeah, wait for it to dry and then you
Okay.
can do extra layers. So this
Alright.
is the lightest layer. From here, we will add more colors to it.
Okay.
So Jackie, what are you doing around her eye where the shadow, like the kind of dark circle around her eye comes in?
Yeah, that'll be in a different layer.
Okay.
So
So
we're
go
just-
ahead and we can go ahead and just add that to the red, yellow, green thing.
Yeah. So it's just the red, yellow, green all the way around the eye. And then later we will add more colors here to actually darken that in.
Okay. Have you gone down her nose? Or are you leaving that?
Yep. So I went down her nose and over to one side of it. I'm not really working too much into the dark side yet, but I just pulled it into this side. Pulled the color into this side of her nose.
So the part that's under her eye that's really, really dark,
Yep.
you would add more green than red.
Or are we gonna add purple? What do you think? What color are you guys seeing?
Purple.
Purple?
Yeah, maybe purple.
That's when you go with the complementary colors to bring out the depth.
Correct.
Okay.
Emma, you gotta, you're gonna have to leave, sweetie.
Yeah, okay. I'm good.
Oh. Sorry.
Nope, you're fine.
Well. There you go. Just keep working. Color that.
So are we like creating color variants based on how we're like using the colored pencils or how we're putting the water down or both?
Okay, say that again. I sorry you cut out.
Sorry. So like when we're trying to like vary the color of the skin and like there's lighter parts and darker parts, are we doing that with how we're doing the colored pencils or how we're putting the water down or both?
How you're doing the colored pencils. So the darker
Okay.
they are, the more colored pencil you put down.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mhm.
So the places on her that have a roundness to them,
Yep.
the ball of her chin, the clavicle, her nose. Should we be moving the brush in a circular motion to
To
kind of
to help you with that circular
the feeling of roundness there?
you can to help you out.
But with colored pencils, is that not really that helpful?
I've never really found it to be that helpful. But sometimes it has helped other people.
Okay.
So I would encourage you to give it a shot if you need it.
Okay. Back up a little bit.
Oh, spy.
Now, if you can see what's going on over here, I kind of broke my concentration on what I was doing. And I set all my pencils down and thought I was done and realized I had this other arm to do. And so when I colored this in, I wasn't paying attention and I was pressing harder here than I had on these other parts here. So you can see there's an intensity difference between this here and this section here. But that's okay because this is actually in the shade. So this is actually going to eventually be darker than this over here. So I can account for that. Okay.
Okay.
My child looks like a poor jaundiced person who hasn't had sleep in a very long time.
I hear you.
Like she should be in Les Mis or something, you know?
I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Thinking zombies.
Or a zombie, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking zombies.
Mine looks like a Phantom of the Opera mask.
Ah,
I gotta blend it now. I'm like desperately blending.
We may be pressing too hard. Just a little.
I don't know if mine looks like a child anymore. Mine looks like a lady with the nosebleed. I got a little too much red on the side of the nose.
I did too. It looked like she had a cold.
Bless you.
Tight.
This was fun though. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but
Good practice. Like, oh no.
Okay, nope, this isn't gonna cut it.
Let's see how it looks on this.
Okay, so now what we have to do now, and the reason I started with the flesh first, is because we can't do any work near this. So this has to dry before we do any work around it.
What are you pointing at? I can't quite see it.
Middle of her face. So all of this that we've been working on, right?
Mhm.
We have to find some place to work that is not wet.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I didn't start us with the eyes. So when you're doing your drawings, you kind of have to plan out what you're going to do, what section, and what section you're going to do next, and what's
Mhm.
not touching each other so that something can dry and not bleed into each other.
Oh, good idea.
Okay. So remember when I had you coloring the one line and then coloring the other line, and then you go back and water the first line?
Yep.
Mhm.
That's the same process.
So my neck is like much yellower than my face and my arms. What should I do to correct that?
Okay. Go ahead and move on from this. Go ahead and add your red and your yellow, or your red and your green. But go ahead and move on from that. What we
Okay.
might need to do, is it like this kind of intensity? Did you push down too hard?
I think I just have more, like I had more green and red on the other areas.
Okay,
I just have too much yellow.
okay.
It didn't balance the
Didn't
color.
balance? Okay. Have you already wetted it then?
I have, yeah, it's almost dry.
Okay, so all you gotta do is just wait for it to be bone dry, and then we'll just come back in and you add some red and green to balance it out.
Okay. I will wait then.
It's been so long since I've worked on like an intentional piece and portraits and things. This is really nice.
So this is more of a painting project than a drawing project.
At this stage, it's a painting project. Later, when we're starting to finish, then it becomes a drawing project.
I'm not a painter. I've established this right now in front of me.
You're not a painter?
Not a painter. Wow.
Pam, we're all holding you personally responsible for this portrait idea.
I know. Raw, a portrait with color.
Well, even if it doesn't turn out right, at least you get the idea. So if you do it again, you'll know more how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of techniques in here that we're going over.
Uh-huh. Okay, we're gonna start that one over. Wow. Okay.
Okay, Pam, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
When you start, hold it 2 fingers all the way in the back. Okay? That's how I want you to put your yellow on.
Oh.
None of this, okay? Because you're just letting the weight of the pencil put the color down.
That's me. Yeah, I was too heavy.
Yeah.
You think it's light, but then when you go to wet, it's like, oh,
Yeah, and then it really intensifies, doesn't it?
yeah. I mean, I'm way too heavy. Next time I'll know, but it's first time I've done it.
So you're holding your pencil way back at the tip.
Yeah, way back here at the tip, way back here. So you're not actually putting any pressure on at this point in time.
I thought I was being gentle, but you really barely touched it then, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And if I'm just holding it like here and letting the weight of the pencil, then how much am I actually putting on when it comes to the green? Because remember, the red is half of this and the green is half of the red.
Wow.
That makes
Okay.
a huge difference.
So does that put that into proportion now?
Yep.
Wow.
I had no idea how dark it could get.
Yeah. My girl is just sallow.
Yeah,
She looks terrible.
I feel that way.
Really, really yellow?
Yeah.
Mine has, she's not well.
Mine has still too much tan.
We
Yeah.
can, if you've got too much yellow, we can add some purple because the yellow and the purple are complements and it will start to take out a little bit. But remember, you don't want to do 50-50 because then she'll go to a chocolate. No, well, not even chocolate. It's not a nice color. So you want to make sure to just add a little bit.
In my case, I don't have any purple. That's the problem.
Ah, okay.
I don't have, all I have is violet. I don't have and I know violet is a purple, but
It'll
I feel
work.
like it's too much red in it.
What about fuchsia? That might not work. Better not add that.
I think I'm gonna have to start mine all over again.
Yeah, me too. But
It's okay. You know, I've actually done this image twice now.
Can we see your finished one?
Not yet.
No. For inspiration and hope?
Okay, are you guys going along well enough? Can I move on to a next section or do you need me
Yeah.
to hang around here?
go for it. As far as
Yeah, I
I'm
think it's
concerned,
fine.
you go for it.
Okay, so since I've got this face done, right? And I don't want to do any place around it. So now I'm going to jump up here to the hat. Okay. Now, as we looked at the hat, right, it's orange. We understand it's an orange hat, but this here in the highlight, that's the yellow.
Huh.
Look at how yellow that is. And then it comes to the orange. And then if you were to isolate this over here, look at how red that suddenly becomes. We're going to do a gradation across here that goes from yellow to orange to a red. We might even add a little purple over in here. okay?
Hmm.
So up here at the top. And this is a pretty intense color, so I'm going to really be bearing down on this section.
Just the crown, not the
Yeah,
brim.
I'm just going to do the crown for right now.
What's your definition of bearing down? Because I seem to be too heavy all the time.
Yeah, bearing down. More pressure than what I was used as I'm writing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, do you change your position on the colored pencil if you're putting
Yes.
more pressure on?
Yes, especially when I'm doing a fill in like this. So I will start out like here, and then I'll switch my paper and go like this so that I have multiple crossovers, especially for such an intense color as what this hat is.
Are you going the whole way across with the yellow?
I'm going to go to about here on this
Okay,
because that's, you know, about to here.
when it changes, yeah.
And then I'll start the orange and I'll blend back and forth with my orange.
And are you pushing pretty hard with the orange?
Yeah, I'm pushing just as hard with the orange as I was with the yellow. These colors are really intense up here, so I want to put a lot of color onto the paper. Now, of course, where I'm fading this into the yellow, I'm not pushing as much because I want that to
Sure.
blend.
And now you're bringing in the purple?
Now I'm bringing in some purple. Now I don't want the purple to really stand out too much, so I'm going to put my orange back over the top of it.
Okay. Sorry, I tried to find my mute button. I couldn't find it.
That's fine.
All right, jump in and see how this worked.
How's everybody doing so far?
Okay.
Okay, I'm to the hat with you, and I know you've lost my image again.
Yeah.
My tablet overheated.
Okay.
You use yellow with the corner of the hat where it's yellow,
Yep.
and then you fade into the reds more.
Orange.
Uh-huh.
And then this was purple. Oops. Yep. So
That far edge.
yellow, and then we went to orange, and then I actually added a purple over here. You can add a red if you see it as more of a red, but I added a purple to see how that went.
Purple is the shading.
Yeah, this little dark area right over here, that was actually yeah, it actually just says purple.
My colors even have names on them.
Is there such thing as a softer? I mean, I keep seeing lines. Like when I look at your hat, Jackie,
Mm-hmm.
there's no lines. It doesn't matter how hard you've been pressing. You can't see your pencil strokes.
Yeah, that's true.
But on mine, I can see where I've done the orange and the purple, I can see the pencil strokes.
Let me see if I can get this down.
Isn't it also
Probably
for
are
working with
not
colored
gonna be
pencils?
able to see it
Yeah, I'm
actually.
wondering.
The pencil strokes are there.
It's
Maybe
just a little
not
blurry.
as much as, you know, the video isn't really picking them up too much.
Mhm.
When it gets this close, it kind of starts blurring out. I'm sorry.
But
My
still,
pencil strokes are there.
I mean, you just have a really nice wash of color,
Mhm.
and I have a little bit of that with orange stripes. So maybe, I mean, you know, maybe I'm sure you have a better quality of pencil. Maybe my pencils aren't as soft.
Well, there are some pencils that are different hardnesses than others. When I use my pencils, I'm always using the side of my pencil. I never use the top part of my pencil.
Right.
That sometimes will make a difference.
Yeah.
Mm, okay.
What brand do you have?
They're called, no judgment, people. Artists Loft. They're from Michael's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that should be a pretty decent pencil.
Okay. So it's a user error, is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, not always. I mean, because, I mean, you can see here, right? I've got pencil marks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay. So they happen. Okay.
Okay.
Take a big breath. Calm down. Relax the stroke. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold the end of the pencil, it helps,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That did make a big difference.
like you had me do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pencil. And I know you're used to
Yeah.
doing this, but it's a tool. So you hold it back here.
Yeah.
So now her face is all dry. So now while I'm waiting for my hat to dry, since I decided not to do the brim at the same time, So now I'm going to go do the eye.
Yay!
Ooh, eyes. All right.
So I'm going to color in the eye. Now I've got a gray, right? Because I'm seeing her eye as a blue gray with a nice blue outline. So I want to do the inside, but I have to be careful because definitely want to save those little highlights, right?
Mhm.
So gonna just very lightly. And again, very lightly.
You're using blue? Light blue.
Black. I'm
Black.
actually using black. So I've got a nice gray base.
Oh, so don't use the gray, use a black pencil.
Use the black pencil, yeah.
Okay.
What if you don't have any black? Use the blue.
Why use black instead of gray?
Because I didn't tell anyone to get a gray pencil. I
Oh,
told people to
okay.
get a black pencil. So if you have a gray pencil, use a gray pencil.
Oh.
Okay, and now I'm just going to come in with just a little bit of blue to kind of tinge that area.
Mm.
Are you using a dark blue?
Yeah, this is my ultramarine.
Ah,
Just adding just a little bit, just so it kind of turns to like a periwinkle kind of blue.
Mm.
Okay, so I want to put on these little moon crescent shapes. That way I save that white, little white area there.
all right.
My printout isn't very good. I can't see the right eye very well. kinda
It
making it
really
up.
gets hidden in there with all the hair and the dark, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Harumph?
see. Yeah. Heck. Oh,
Once we get the eyes colored, should we go in and use the water? Or wait?
Yes. Yes. Once you get your eyes colored, go ahead and use your water.
So how do you avoid the white highlight area? How do you avoid that turning color, getting painted?
Make sure that you, when I took water up, when I normally take water up, I have a lot of water like dripping off of my brush.
Right.
When I did this, I took water up and then I dabbed it off onto my piece of paper or
Okay.
paper towel so that it was slightly dry. So I don't have quite so much water.
Have you already, oh, there you go. Okay. I couldn't see your eyes.
Yep. Yep.
Have you already done it?
Yeah. So that way I could move it around and then pull it up to where I wanted it to be. And that way it saved the whites.
Okay. I see.
leave it. Leave it.
Okay.
Whoa.
Well, mine has moved away from sickly into doom and hood. So I'd say it's a progression.
There we go. Woohoo! I am so looking forward to seeing these.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. I'm gonna leave that.
How's everybody doing so far? Other than having demon children.
Definitely zombie-ish.
Zombie.
Still quite possessed.
What color can you use for the eyelid?
The eyelid. So this area up in here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I would probably use a combination of purple and
Okay.
brown.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Put
Purple
the
and
purple
brown.
going on first.
Yeah, which first?
Yeah. I would probably do the purple first.
Okie doke. Give it a go.
So, and then down in here, I would probably do the purple. And then this
Okay.
section down in here, see where it gets really dark in here?
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
probably
yeah.
put the brown in here.
Okay. Oh, I got it. Yeah, you can. Oh, okay. Yeah, yours has a little bit more purple looking.
Yeah, it just depends on how your printer prints out stuff
Yeah, it
as
yeah,
to
it looks
what it
different.
looks
I mean,
like.
yours makes sense, but mine is it's a little more pinkish than purple.
Is it? Yeah, it just depends on
Yeah.
how your printer prints out stuff.
A little more rosy like.
Yeah. So one of the questions I'm always asked is, how do you deal with hair?
Yep.
Barely understanding how to draw it, let alone paint it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I always tell people is that it's a group of individuals
Mm-hmm.
standing together. And recently I kind of equated it to you're standing on a stage and you're looking out at a sea of people at a rock band, okay? You can see the individuals when you look for them, but otherwise it's just a sea of bodies running around. So if you
Okay.
look here, you can see this huge clump right here,
Yep.
okay? But do you see this little brown streak running right through here?
Yeah.
Barely.
Right through the middle here.
Mhm.
Look at your image. See the brown streak running through here? So
Yeah.
that's the individual. We're going to pick that out.
Oh.
Okay. So we're going to shade up and then we're going to pick out the individual.
Hmm.
Shade, and then we're going to shade. And then here, look at this clump here. See this little darkness right here? So we're going to pick that out. Going to shade here. Leave these two little strands. Always make sure to leave little strands on them, on your images. That's what makes hair feel like hair. Now, unfortunately, since you are building these up with watercolors, you can't put them back in afterwards. So you have to plan for them now.
I think
as
I
you're putting them all
accidentally
in. Right.
painted over some of the hair.
Yeah.
Oops.
That's
Eh.
okay. You can just draw them in. That's one of the joys about this. Okay, over here on this side. You see this one here?
Wow.
This clump here? And then look at these little individual strands that come off over here.
Mm.
So look for the clumps and then look for the individualness of the clump. See how this one kind of twists a little bit? You've got a little highlight that runs up into this darkness section here.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
So what I've got right now is I just have my brown and I'm just filling in underneath the hat right here because it's very, very dark underneath here. So I'm just kind of filling this in so that I can get started on pulling out my clumps of hair over here.
That works. That helps.
That help?
Yep.
Yeah.
Another thing that helps is when you are actually pulling out, you know, you're getting to the end of your strand,
Mhm.
you're going along, and you get to the end of your strand and you're almost done. Take your lift off and flick. Okay.
Huh.
That actually gives you more of that thinning of the end of the hair. So it gives you that natural little wispiness of a hair clump.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a little after 8 o'clock. Does anybody have any requests that they want to, a technique they want to see for next time?
What
I
about,
would love to landscape.
Go ahead.
Oh, I said I would love to landscape.
Yeah,
Landscape?
landscape, and I was thinking like water, maybe water and
Yes, yes.
yeah, water and
Water's
trees or
really hard
something.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
water, like I was looking at, you know, ocean versus river versus lake, and they talked
Yeah.
about the ripples and stuff, you know,
Yeah.
how to get those effects. That looks cool. It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
they'll never ask for my suggestions again. Hmm,
That's it, Pam. You had one per class, one per course.
sorry.
So Jackie, up underneath the brim of the hat on the right,
Uh-huh.
that's so dark. It's not even brown. It's almost got black to it. So should we use a little black in there, or is it too intense?
Eventually I would use black up in here, but at this point in time, I'm just gonna stick with the brown.
Okay.
So for this first layer, I kind of want it to be all the same. I don't want anything to be real dark. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Oops.
So as we add more layers, then we'll make things darker.
So are we gonna work on this next week too?
Well, I actually have a video. I'm not quite finished with it, but it will take you all the way through from start to finish.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it will be on YouTube, and you can access it anytime. And once I get it finished, of course. But it will take you all the way through.
From this same image or
From
just?
this same image, yep.
Okay.
Because I knew there was no way I was going to be able to take you from start to finish.
No, uh-uh. Looks good. Okay.
So finishing it up will be our homework.
Do you got,
I may try something else if I don't know, but
Okay.
whatever.
yeah, I think I'm just going to tell you guys to go ahead and make your own image.
All right.
Because this video is pretty long as it sits right now.
Mhm.
I do not know that you guys have enough time to go through it.
Okay.
I don't know what you guys' schedule looks like.
When you look at the white of her eye, clearly it's not white. I see almost like a
Blue.
very pale blue, almost with a little bit of green in it.
Yeah, there we go.
And so would I start with the pale blue and go over it with the very light green, or vice versa?
I would do it that way.
Okay. But hardly even touching at all.
Yep.
What about the eyebrows? Like you barely see them. Would you use a
I can't even see them.
like
Yeah.
a reddish tint? It's almost like a strawberry blonde.
Yeah. I would just give a discoloration there just to give the hint of eyebrows and just leave it at that because she's
Yeah.
so fair.
Yep, you barely see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's young too.
Yeah.
Got that baby skin.
Yeah.
Yep. That real
Not on mine.
Ooh, that was a mistake.
Eyes are going. Let's see.
Okay, so now one of the steps we need to establish as we're looking at this is we know this is a really light area over here, right? But we need to establish where the darkest spot is on this because we need to have a tonality. So we know what the lightest spot is. We need to know where the darkest spot is so that we know that everything else is in that, within those ranges.
Mm.
So where do we have our lightest spot? Where do you think the lightest spot or the darkest spot is?
Maybe at the brim of the hat and maybe down below her shoulder there.
Rim of the hat down here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is darker? You can only have one spot. Which is the darker?
the brim of the hat, under the
Rim of the
brim.
hat?
I don't know. I think it would be under her ear. Yeah.
This here?
Or maybe under her ear, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're
Is
going to
there
establish
in
that
there? Okay,
that's the
see.
darkest spot. So nothing else here can be darker than this spot.
Oh
So
dear.
this is where we're going to really put our darks.
Mm. Pressing down pretty hard then.
Yeah,
Like would you use black or what do you use? What
yeah,
color?
I would use black in this area.
Well, what do you think, Jackie? Do you think that's the darkest spot or do you think it's under the hat?
No, this is where I think the darkest spot is.
I might have to draw in some more hair details. I just kind of have this giant mess.
Is there ever a time that you draw with the pencil but don't go back with water?
Yeah, that's what I will do at the very end is the last thing I will do is I will start drawing with my pencil and just leave the pencil marks
Okay.
because it's a watercolor pencil. So it doesn't make sense to just make it completely smooth
Yeah.
because then why use the watercolor pencil? I could just use watercolors.
Yeah.
Good
But
point.
it's a pencil, so use that to our advantage.
So do you save like the eye details for that too?
Yeah, eye details, hair details, maybe some, details under the chin, some details on the hat, whatever I feel needs to be, have a little bit more of an accent to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Here we go.
But save those really dark places until last.
Right, so we put an entire tone over the whole image, right? So you have color all the way over, and then you let it dry really well, and then you come back in with another layer,
Got it.
darkening up, intensifying colors. Then you step away, let that dry, come back in, intensify, darken up, balance, whatever you need to do. Step away, let that dry, come back, make some decisions. If you need to do another layer, a little bit here, a little bit there, balance it out.
I get. So that's why we didn't paint the pupils then, because we can just draw that in
Yes.
to get all those little details. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All those details can go in with your actual pencils.
Cool.
So when you do one of these, there's a lot of planning that goes on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's for sure.
Be happy with my eye.
Whew.
Ooh, I want to see.
Well, yeah. Let's see, what am I doing? Really weird. I don't know if I can do it.
Oh, okay.
I'm in this it looks very strange. There.
Oh, nice.
This
That's
is-
really pretty. Yeah.
She's still a little jaundiced, but
That's all right. A little purple will pull that right out.
Mine's definitely a little resurrected from the dead. Zombie girl.
That trick you gave us with the hair about finding a little darker, I think that's going to be really useful. It makes it look more realistic,
Mhm.
definitely.
so how are we going to get the blonde? Is that going to be in the video?
Yes.
I worked just a little bit ahead on mine because I was kind of not totally.
Yeah.
Can't see it. The hat looks great.
Yeah. That's a great gradation there.
Yeah, and I've got to work on I'll show you mine. I got to work on the pencil colors and the touch. See how, I don't know if you can see it. It's hard to show it, but see how dark it got dark, too dark. Where it's light, it's dark. So I just reversed it because I had no choice. But that is the pencil color and the touch just like too dark, the touch.
Yeah, you may have it you may be bearing down too much on it. You may need to, hold on to it by the back.
By the back, I think helps better because I thought I was doing it really light. So I'm going to hold it back farther.
Yeah, yeah. It may also be the color of yellow that you have.
Yeah, I think I got to maybe, check these pencils and try it out more.
There's a lot of layers on this.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot going on, yeah.
Yeah, and remember, this is technically just the first layer.
Jeez.
Oh, wow, this brown is really red. She's starting to look like a redhead.
Me too. So maybe if that's the case, Jackie, should we go over it with some green?
Yes,
What'll the green do then? The green will.
the green will take out the red because the green is the complement of the red.
Okay.
Now, again, remember, you're only wanting to use a little bit green.
How do you get the glitter in the hat to make it look shiny? Is there a trick to that?
You've got to save the little white dots.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, you got to save the little white dots.
Oh, okay. Probably too late. Can you put white over it? I don't know. I didn't even.
Yes, you can.
Actually, if you
Can I, or
get yourself one of
silver
those
even, or-
glitter pens, yeah, you could actually go back in with a glitter pen.
Ooh.
Okay, okay.
Could you put like gouache or acrylic inks on top of this, or would that
Yeah.
not work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, any color water medium will work over the top of this also.
All right.
Okay, so remember how I said that I wanted this, so we've got our lines of force going this way, right?
Right.
And we've got a
Mhm.
line down here that the eye will naturally follow. So I want a nice gradation of a neutral color to help pull the eye from here down to here. So I'm going to use just a plain brown. I'm going to start really light up here and work it down this way. But I'm going to use it very slowly, nice and gentle, so that I don't get a bunch of pencil marks. And another thing, I'm going to make circles.
Huh. So you're doing the background. This is the background.
Yep, I'm doing the background
Why are you doing circles?
because that helps to actually keep me from having the straight
Okay,
pencil marks.
okay.
By doing the circles, it actually keeps you from tensing up and getting this going on.
Yeah, I can see it. I'm sorry, did you say you're starting a little heavier at the top and then lightening at the, as you go down?
No, I'm starting really light at the top and I'm working down so it'll be
Yeah.
darker down at the bottom.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I'll do that later.
Excuse me, Jackie.
Yes.
I did not get the picture that you sent. So I just want to make sure if I get that you have my email address. Mhm.
Okay. Do you have my email address? It's JackieTyStudios@gmail.com. That is my personal email address. You can get a hold of me anytime at that email address. I have the email that the university gave me for you, but apparently it did not go through to you.
Right. And then do we get an connect for the class each time, or are we supposed to save that one Zoom call?
Just save the one Zoom. Do you need me to resend it to you?
Actually, my daughter's in the class. She sent it to me, but I didn't have that either.
Okay.
So I need to email you so that you can email me? Mhm.
Yes.
Got it. Mhm.
And then I will have your personal email, and then I will make sure you get this image and the next image.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Jackie?
Yeah.
Yeah, is there an S on the end of studio in your email address? Is it Jackie Ty Studios?
I say it so many times. Now I'm like, let me see what my actual is. Hang on just a second.
Stump the teacher.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? Jackie Ty Studios. Yes, there is an S.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sometimes it's really hard for me to get hold of my Parkland information, so that's my personal email. You can get a hold of me anytime. Okay, any final questions?
No, it's been a great class.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I learned
will
a lot.
I will send everyone the link for the YouTube for the first taping. And then as soon as I manage to edit the full video for this, then I will put that on YouTube and send that to you guys also.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie. I
Yeah,
learned a
thank
lot.
you.
Yeah, this was
welcome.
good.
Very good.
Okay, so we're gonna do a landscape next week.
Okay.
See if I can't torment you with that.
Can you add water to it?
Water to it? Okay.
Yeah.
See you guys.
All right, thanks. Have a good week,
Yeah,
everybody.
thanks a lot. Have a good
Yeah,
week.
you
Take care.
too. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 I didn't